Hello, welcome back, everybody. I'm CB, and today I had an interesting experience finishing out my week. I'm going away for vacation for a week, and so I'm trying to pre-record videos, finish out my regular day job, and get all the shopping done, prepare for a trip, whatever it is. So today is also the official release of The Hobbit, and so everywhere I go, there's like people offering up, hey, we have the Hobbit set. What about the Hobbit set? Oh, it's only so many things left, and whatnot. So I was actually driving out with my son, and he's learning to drive. Long story short, we're going around, and I'm actually able to get my hands on a beautiful Hobbit bundle. hmm And having found this, I thought, ooh, I need to share with Tep because it's such a nice thing to be able to open these things and live vicariously through each other. So, Tep, thanks for joining the call and being here to look at this together with me.
Yeah, no problem. I didn't know you had found anything. You didn't tell me beforehand. You just told me to get on. So
Yeah.
here I am. So let's see what you got.
That's right. Well, actually, one thing before I open this, also wanted to say I got a little interesting little gimme on top of it because the person at the store, they just threw in this card. I don't think it's anything particularly special, but it was just intrigued me a little bit. I don't even know what set this is from. I didn't look at it, but it's the Bomat Courier. You know what set this is from?
Yes, this is from Kaladesh.
Kaladesh. Bomat Courier says you pay one colorless man, and then it has haste, and then it has this thing where whenever this creature attacks, I get to exile the top card of my library face down, and I can't look at it. But then I get to activate this if I want by paying one red into it. It allows me to discard my hand and then sacrifice this card. And when I do, I get to put all exiled cards into my hand. So I thought, oh, this is really cool. And I was like, oh, this is really not so cool. It's like, oh, actually, it is pretty cool. Because one, it's a haste creature, so I get at least one in there. And maybe later in the game, I end up not having been able to draw any cards or anything I can play. So then this is a very nifty thing. What do you think? Have you played this one before?
I played that during draft for Kaladesh. I played the pre-release, the set, and I drafted it quite a bit. In a limited environment, it's very good because it's not card draw, uh, but it is something that you can work with, right? So you exile the top cards, and then you can get all the cards that you exiled into your hand. There are more efficient ways to do something with this, but like to this effect. But of course, in different environments, you do not always have access to the better stuff. So you can do some nifty things because it is a colorless card, but you do require red to activate it. So it can go in any deck, but in order to actually get the most out of it, you need the red mana.
So I just thought it was very cool. Someone threw in a little extra card. It's kind of a funny thing because it doesn't really cost that much overall. I could have easily paid, the buck or whatever it was. And so it's just a nice, you feel like you made something, right? So thank you very much for the salesperson that does for me this morning. So that's our little gimme. And then what say? Let's move into opening this guy here. I have some plans for this. I think I'd like to hold on to at least three of these boosters to use as like prizes for when we like maybe do a draft in house. I'm going to a family reunion, maybe something like that. We'll see. But we can open at least some of this. All right.
Yeah,
So
sounds great.
let's switch to the overhead here, and then let me move the gallery as well. All right. So here we go. Let's crack this baby open. This is also really great. One of the reasons I got this is because it's going to have a great box and then it allows me to organize stuff a little bit differently in my collection at home. So, for those of you who don't know yet, what comes in a Magic the Gathering The Hobbit bundle? Well, all these things here in the back. Let's open it up. We get this box and a little extra bit of art. Live without breath, as cold as death. Never thirsty, never drinking, all in mail, never clinking. All right, and then it's got some cool art. We got Bilbo encountering Gollum here on this side, and then here we have the boat on the other side. And so this is basically them down in the cave. Here we go. All right, let's open her up. And then it has beautiful spin down counter here. This
Nice.
is, here we go. Yeah, this one has like these little um it's almost like raised or it's like carved into it, which is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
I hear
those look great. What does it have on the 1 and the 20, if anything?
so yeah, so we have a Magic the Gathering symbol here on one side, and on the other side we have a where is it? It's hard to see. This is all very dwarf inspired. Oh yeah, and then I believe this is the set. Is that the set icon?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool. But these things, I somehow it's always tough for me because I don't know which one is the 20 and which one is the zero or the one, I guess. It's a one, right? But anyway,
Since
they're
it's a,
very cool.
since it's a spin down or a spin up, however you want to call it, right? So the 2 is next to the 1, and then it goes around. So this is
Yeah, makes sense.
not a D20 where there's a specific allotment of where the number should go. These are sequential.
That's a fair point. And this is why you're the brains of this operation. And then you even think about that. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not a D20. All right, let's have a look here. Got a couple of cool cutouts. I, for one, love the cutouts because it's just neat. And I also actually cut up all the cardboard that I get whenever I buy any of the stuff or when I go to pre-release because I like them as separators. Here we have the art for the Goblin King. Very cool card to play against as well. And then couple nifty little Magic the Gathering things here. Looks cool. And we also have a bunch of these are hone counters. Where you can see it's a +1 +0 for an axe because this set has a lot of artifacts and artifact weapons and stuff like that. And so there are creatures and especially the dwarves that allow you to hone those weapons further. So that's very cool. That's what these are for. All right, so let's have a look. We have uh, two things that are specific to the bundle, which will be some sort of a promo here, and we will also have particular lands. We can definitely open that, and then we have the 9 play boosters that come in this. And I would say maybe we can pick a few of those. Maybe we start by opening these, huh? Which are specific to the bundle.
Well, the pack on the right is just basic lands, right? So there will be some of them will be full art, with the most likely the 4 season full art, similar to what you got in your promo pack. Most likely 4 for each color,
Yep, let's have
which
a
is
look.
standard in bundles.
Yeah, let's have a look. I'm sure you're right. So here we got the plains, island, swamp, mountain, beautiful art, looks great. Forest, and then these are the full arts, and then here we have them in like the basic versions. Very nice. And just some explanation points. Those look really cool. I like those. That's a nifty little thing to do, especially as you're building your own decks. Cool to have. And then the other one has a special promo from the deck, from the set here. We get the Misty Mountains Cold. The Misty Mountains Cold saga here. Says as the saga enters, and after you draw step, add a lower counter sacrifice after 4. So there's actually always the same, and it basically just says create a treasure token. Then, if you control 4 or more treasures, sacrifice this saga. If you do, create a 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying. A treasure token is an artifact with tap it, sacrifice this token, add 1 mana of any color. So basically, with the Misty Mountains Cold in foil here, we get to create a treasure, and if I control 4 or more treasures, then I can sacrifice this saga to get a 6/6 red dragon. Very cool, very on point. For those who don't know, the Hobbit is dealing with dwarves going to the dragons horde there and battling Smaug. So that's what that is. That's our enchantment, and then we have more lands. So here we have the plains in full art and in foil. Plains in these are in the 4 seasons actually. We've opened these before in another video, I think. These here they are. And then here we have the full art once more in foil and also the basics more in foil. It's cool. I love it. Lots of fun to add. All right. Now then, Pep, since you're living vicariously through me at this moment, what are we doing here? We got a Gandalf, we got some Beorn, more Gandalf, more Elves. Okay, so it gives us 3 of each. So I would say, should we open 1 of each?
Yeah, let's do one of each, so you can take the remainder
Yep,
to the reunion and see what you can do there. Yeah, let's
excellent.
just do one of each, just the top one as you place them right now of each one, and then we'll see what happens.
All right, where am I starting?
Left to right.
Left to right. Excellent. Okay, so here we are, left. That's our Hobbit Gandalf booster. You know what I noticed is that oftentimes I noticed in the video it actually doesn't seem to pick up when I open stuff. So I'm going to try and hold this close to the microphone here so we actually have this going on. It doesn't, because otherwise oftentimes you don't hear the pack being opened. But we are opening it. Okay, here we go. Starting with Vow to Erebor. Quarrel. Oin the Brave. Crude Bent Blade. That's a great card. I love this card because it forces your opponent to sacrifice a creature of their choice. Mirkwood Mediator. Patient Instructor. Gundabad Opportunist. All right. When this creature enters, exile the top card of your library until the end of your next turn. You may play that card. Great. Oh, I haven't seen this. Sylvan Reveler, an elf citizen. When this creature enters, draw a card, then discard a card. If you discard a land card this way, put it from your graveyard onto the battlefield tapped. And it has landfall, so that's a great idea. If you have a landfall deck, and you get your landfall built in. Sweet. By the way, feel free to chime in if you have anything you want to. Oh, here we go, the Desolation Prowler. Tab, if you have anything you want to chime in on, or we talk about it afterwards, that's cool.
Let's
Desolation.
just go through them, and then if something, and then we can decide if
Sounds
we want
good.
to talk about anyone in
Let's do that.
particular.
Okay. Lake Town Toymaker. Ooh, okay. I know we're gonna talk about it later, but Dancing from Dark to Dawn is a mythic rare, and it's a pretty ridiculous card. So let me put that aside. We'll talk about that later. Let's go through all of them and then we'll talk about what's here. Bulk's Company. We got another Sylvan Raveler. This one is in foil and another forest. We'll add that to our lands and a bird token. Excellent. You know what? I'm just going to leave those here. Let's move straight into the second pack.
Yeah,
And
from this pack, just put the Dancing from Dusk to Dawn to the side. Everything
uh-huh.
else, well, actually, that extended full art goblin, that
The Bulk's Company, this one here.
yeah, put that to the side too.
Okay, great.
Everything, the other stuff that some of we have talked about in the previous video, and others. Well, we can talk about them some other time. I think we'll talk more
Yeah,
about the things that we put
let's
aside.
do that. Let's do that. All right, second round. We're going to the elves. Elf and humans here. All right, and again, here's the sprinkling, and we're opening up. Here we go. Beautiful. Starting with Warg Tactics. Nice. Smaug the Great Calamity.
Put that one to
Hmm.
the side just because it's a smell.
Yeah, that's right. Golem Silent Slinker.
Yeah.
Uneasy Partings. Uneasy Partings. Magnificent End. I think I'll put that one aside. Well-worn Spatula. Very, very fun. Not necessarily something big we have to talk about, but there. Stir Up Trouble. Fun little card. I've used it a lot in the pre-releases. We have another Patient Instructor. Here's a Chief Warg. I've seen a lot of people. Okay, since there are no commander decks for the Hobbit, I've seen a lot of people like put together their own commander decks, and several of them feature him as the commander in one of those cards. So some of these cards definitely more for commander, but we can talk about it. Troll Negotiations. Nice. Then we have the Dwarven Mattock, which we've talked about in the previous video. Dane's Company for our rare. That's pretty good. We'll put that aside. And we have a Gandalf Wandering Wizard in foil. Also very nice. Then we have Lake Town and a Goblin Army. Beautiful. So I've put aside for this one, Dane's Company, Smoke the Great Calamity, and Magnificent End and Uneasy Partings, just because those are things I think I might want to talk about with you. Okay. And lucky round number 3, we have the Beorn colored thing here. Crinkly, crinkly. All right. All right, a card we've talked about in previous videos, Goblin Town Flunkies. A great little card for sealed play. The Great Fierce Bee. Lakeshore Apothecary. I haven't actually seen this card before, but anything that says vigilance is good.
Put that to the side. I have something to say about that one.
Excellent. We'll put it to side. Here we go. Put that one out. Next, we have Moment of Glory. Again, I haven't played this one. But good. And then Wood Elves, we've talked about before. Tidings of War. Okay, we might want to put that one aside. Thank you. I'm getting a tea delivery here. Thank you. Cheers, everybody. Weekend time. That's live. Beautiful. Okay. All right. We'll continue here with a little bear. Very, very cute. Rage into the Valley. You draw a card and lose 1 life. Amass Goblins 2. Oh, that's neat. Okay. Down to Goblin Town. Talked about before. Biffer, the Melodic Rider. Very good card, which we talked about before. And then we have Beorn's Hospitality. That's a good card we might want to talk about. Anyway, it's for a landfall deck, and you can also convert him into a bear. So, great card to have. Head of the Hunt for our rare. That's a pretty good one. And do we have a second? Oh, okay. And here we have Beorn, Reluctant Host. Not to be confused. These are 2 different cards. But this is a great card. All right. And then we go into Goblin Town. And we have a Stone Boulder. All right. So I think out of all these things, the stuff that we would want to maybe separately talk about are from the first deck was Dancing from Dusk Till Dawn, Bulk's Company, Smaug the Great Calamity, Dane's Company, Beorn Reluctant Host, Head of the Hunt, Tidings of War, and Lakeshore Apothecary. Anything else you want to add to the big pulls here?
No, some of the other things had already come up from your pre-release, so I think we already talked or mentioned them. But from this, yeah, those cards sounds like a plan.
Okay, so I'm putting everything else aside here, and then let's go into it. So I would call this great pulls. All right, Tap. So what should we talk about first?
Yeah, in the order that you have them in your hand.
Dancing from Dark to Dawn.
It's broken. It's broken. I love it. I really like it, but I don't think it should exist in the form that it's in.
Really?
I think it's somewhat of a design mistake.
Really? How do you figure?
It's
Just because it's too powerful?
It's way too powerful. See, and okay, why don't you read the card for
Sure.
anybody that hasn't read it?
Okay, so Dancing from Dark to Dawn. First of all, it's a 3 mana, 2 green, and it's an enchantment that says whenever you cast a creature spell, put X +1/+1 counters on target creature you control, where X is that spell's mana value. Additionally, it has landfall, and it says whenever a land you control enters, create a 2/2 green bear creature token.
Yeah, it's a busted card that I think is overtuned. I think it's too much of a good thing. But I would love to have it in my collection. But yeah, yeah. I mean, you have to recognize that some things are just too powerful. They're not just really, really good. They're just this is one of those cards.
Great pull. Happy to have it in the collection.
Wonderful
Number
pull.
number two, I would say, yeah, if you're trying to get someone into Magic, this card has everything. It's overpowered, it's cute, it plays in green. So if you're looking to get someone into Magic and they just, I mean, listen, so many good ways to get this to happen because anyone you introduce new, my gosh, there's so many. I mean, Magic is so deep, right? That's the benefit of it. That's so beautiful. That's a big part of it. So I remember even just for myself, just a few short years ago, not knowing what all this stuff means is so overwhelming. So the fact that I just know, okay, if I can get this card on the field, I get a bunch of other stuff that goes boom. So that's fine. And then I think that's a great scenario to play it in. But if you were to play it in like a competitive situation, I mean that's ridiculous. It's so hard to beat. Anyway, fun. All right. Let's go for the next one in here. We have Bolg's Company. You said to pull this one out. It
Yeah.
says, so this is a one black, 1 red mana creature, goblin soldier, 2/2. And it says this creature has haste as long as you control another goblin. And activated abilities, I can tap it and sacrifice another goblin to add black and red to my mana pool. Yeah, so I can see why you would want that here. Anything that allows me to add additional mana to my pool. Pretty cool. Plus, it's a body on
Yeah.
the field.
I think you're properly identifying why I like it, but it's not adding more into your mana pool. It's refunding itself.
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Hmm.
Right? So you're even Steven on casting and immediately using it, but it is something that if you are reducing costs or doing things for free, or you have since it is black red, it's very likely that you have a sacrifice synergy in the deck.
Hmm.
So this is just a great utility piece so
Yeah.
it's a card you play, it refunds its own cost, and it has the potential to activate different synergies that you might put in there. So this is a goblin, so goblin synergies and sacrifice synergies, which is Rakdos, the black-red archetypes, a heavily feature the sacrificing of things. And important, it just says another goblin. It
Right.
cannot sacrifice itself, right? It says sacrifice another goblin. But it doesn't have to be a non-token. You can sacrifice
Correct.
a token goblin. So there are different
Hmm.
things that this may play synergistically with. And I like it. And I wanted to take another look at the art.
Yeah. We'll do it one more time. We'll have another look.
Yeah, and the extended art not only for The Hobbit, but also the original Lord of the Rings is just great. I really love the art. Yeah.
Now, you asked to take this one out, Smaug the Great Calamity. Now, this is not a rare or a mythic, it's just a common, but as you correctly identified, it is a Smaug. And so, my gosh, I have to do it here. But it is a Smaug. And so, as such, certainly nice to have in any deck here. Plus, look at that art, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that looks,
The art for all the smokes is wonderful. This one in particular, yeah, it's a 5/5 flyer for 7. That's not great, but I actually it is a legendary at the common level.
yeah.
So this is it also has an adventure on it, which you can cast the adventure, as I understand it, from the command zone. So you could
Ah,
potentially,
yeah.
from the command
Oh,
zone, play the adventure, put it into exile, and then with it you can activate cast from exile synergies that are existent in red. It
mhm.
is interesting for different considerations that you have a legendary creature at common. We had them at uncommon before, but not so much at common. So, and yeah, it's Smaug, and that art is great. And yeah, sure, him as the flying dragon there. It's a 5/5 flyer for 7. Isn't that great? But it still is Smaug. It's a dragon. Uh,
Well,
you
it
care
is
about
pretty cool. And additionally, so the adventure on this says spew flame. So spew flame deals 5 damage to target creatures. That's a targeted ability. I mean, that is just nuts too. So not only can I cast this for the adventure and then kill a big creature, but on top of it, then it's an exile, so I can cast it from there and I eventually get it back on the field. I mean, that's pretty amazing. Well, all right. Let's speed along a little bit here. Next, I have Dane's Company, and now I know I put this out. And I think it was primarily because I actually hadn't seen it. So, Dane's Company reads, so it's a creature dwarf warrior for 1 red, 1 white. This creature has lifelink as long as you control another dwarf. I mean, realistically, if you're playing white red with the Hobbit set, you're going to have a dwarf. And then when this creature enters, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a dwarf or equipment card from among them and put them into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I mean, fan-frickin-tastic, right? Like, just imagine how this would play. I pay a red and a white. It goes onto the field. A creature has lifelink. I would definitely play it after I have another dwarf in. Also, when it enters, then I get to look at the top 4 cards of the library and I can reveal a dwarf or equipment card. We have so many cool equipment cards, including the axe that brings the dwarf, as we talked about in the previous video. I mean, yeah, this can pop off real quick. Thoughts?
it's great in the right deck. So in a dwarf deck, which I'm at the very least on in digitally, I have the beginnings of one. Specifically building the Dwarven Company
Yeah.
with either Thorin or Dane at the helm. So there you go, right? So it's not super powerful, right?
Hmm.
But it helps you create your next play. So in Commander and in most formats, you want to play on curve, right? On curve being that you never leave unspent mana, or you want to cast one spell at 1 spell at 2, 1 spell at 3, or a combination of lesser values that sum up that value, right?
Hmm.
So if you play on turn 1, you play your land and maybe a 1/1 dwarf, which there are some. And then turn 2, you play this with your second land, and then it helps you look for your next play. So it fixes your play pattern
Yeah.
in Commander. And now in Limited or Draft, it'll pre-release even. This is even better because you can build around this,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
because the dwarfs are everywhere, and dwarfs in this case, it's not just dwarfs but also equipments. And as you say, the axe that brings it to dwarf, it's in here. So yeah, it's great.
Next card in this pack is Beorn the Reluctant Host. Now, again, it's not a rare card. It's another one on the common set, but as we know, we have these adventure options in these. I've played this card during pre-release. Very interesting. So this one has an interesting adventure. It's called Till Intent. Beorn himself will cost you 4 mana and a green, so that's pretty expensive. But I mean, not for what he is, but it's just a later in the game kind of thing. He's a 5/5, so it's totally worth it. On top of it, though, this adventure says Till Intent, which is 1 mana, 1 green, which, hey, you should have that early on, like turn 2, turn 3, right? Depending on what you're playing. And this one says, you may play an additional land this turn, then exile this card. You may cast a creature later from exile. It's actually a really great adventure to play in the early game, right? Because especially if you're playing a landfall deck, which green lends itself to, especially with the Hobbit, you could get the double trigger, and you could actually get a triple trigger off of this because if you play the Hobbit hole, right? The Hobbit hole, you play an additional land, and the Hobbit hole gives you 2 landfall triggers. So that's pretty cool if you have landfall, even if it's not dancing from dark to dawn. And additionally, hey, Bjorn says trample. And when Bjorn says trample, we trample. Thoughts?
You pointed it all out, right? So and that creature side is not actually that expensive
Right.
for what it is. It's a 5/5 with trample for 5. Wonderful. It's a better rate than what you get with Smaug.
That's true. And I actually happen to point out all the things, which is a
Yes.
first for me. That's awesome. I love it. All right, so this leads us to the last card, and this is the card where you said, I definitely have something to say about this. So I'd like to hear what you have to say about this because I haven't even really read this card, and that is the Lakeshore Apothecary, which is a creature human cleric for 1 mana, 1 blue. Um, and it's a 1/2, and it says Vigilance. Okay, I see it so far. And it says, whenever you draw your second card each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Okay, so this is hearkening to the whole recruiting mechanic that we have in the white-blue archetype for the Hobbit. But other than that, so yeah, so then and anything that says you can add counters when you draw a second card, you're probably seeing something I'm not seeing. So let's hear the full
Yeah.
perspective.
It's a 1/2 with vigilance that doesn't do much, but 1/2 with vigilance is actually a good attacker and a good blocker if you can make it grow. In one against one, you would want to draw 2 cards on your turn and 2 cards on someone else's turn,
Right.
right? And you can draw your second card after you play this, right? It plays well with
Mm,
recruit. So in a commander deck that already does 2 cards per turn and then something happens, you want to put this in because it's something that can eventually grow into a threat. And it's a good attacker, good blocker at that point. Even in standard now, you have things with Bloomburrow, you have Marvel. There's a lot of things that deal with drawing cards on someone else's turn or playing extra spells on someone else's turn. So playing effects that are essentially cantrips or just draw 1 card for 1 mana, these become much more interesting or synergistic when you have a payoff for doing the
mm,
thing that you wanted to do anyways. So is it a good card by itself? No, because it doesn't do the thing by itself. This is sort of like a side piece, if you will, right? It can do the work if your theme is well established and supported. I'm excited about it because it can budget friendly be included in a theme that is becoming more and more popular. The second thing of a type per turn. So you can now build around it. You already could, but this is just another piece of that.
yeah, very good point. Well, I'll say this. I think I have yet to open a really bad Hobbit pack. So at this point, I just really feel like maybe it's just that the flavor is so good. I mean, we've talked about this before. But yeah, so much fun. Love to do that. So I'll keep the rest of these back, but thanks for joining me today to open some of this stuff. I also like the Misty Mountain Cold as an inclusion in here. That's definitely a beautiful thing. Very on theme, very good. Love the spin down. Love all this stuff. So and thanks for joining me to do a little bit of the evaluation on the big cards as they came through. Lots of cool stuff to add here for sure. And will you do me a favor and lean to your right? Yes. Hey, if you'd like to subscribe or watch this other video, please do so. And we love that you joined us here today. Have a great rest of your day and have a great weekend, which is what I'm going to. Thanks, Teb.
Have a good one.
All the best. Bye.